Measurements, Stage 1. In this video we're going to look at how we measure length, weight and capacity and the units of measurements that we use. Length is a way to measure how tall or long something is. So, for example, we might want to measure how tall this house is. Weight, or sometimes you'll see the word mass, tells us how heavy an object is. For example, the weight of these apples. Now, weight and mass are not exactly the same, but for the moment we're just going to use the words interchangeably, so it doesn't really matter at this stage. Capacity is a way of measuring the amount of liquid and tells us the volume inside something. So, for example, the amount of water inside this bucket. Let's remind ourselves of the metric units of measurement we use in the UK to measure length, weight and capacity. When we are measuring length, we can use millimetre, which is mm when it's shortened, centimetre, which is cm, metre, which is m, and kilometre, which is km. When we're measuring weight, we can use milligrams, shortened to mg, gram, shortened to g, kilogram, shortened to kg, and tonnes, shortened to t. And when we're measuring capacity, we can use millilitre, ml, or litre, L. The important part of working with measurements is to understand the relationship between the units, as well as having a really good idea and being able to make an estimate of a measurement. That means looking at something and roughly knowing what the length would be, or what the weight would be, or the capacity. Let's start off then by thinking about length. So, millimetres we use when we're measuring very small measurements such as an ant or our fingernail. Centimetres is slightly larger but still small objects, so maybe a pencil or a chocolate bar. Metres we use for much larger objects, so maybe the height of a person or the length of a bus. And kilometres is for even further, so we're really thinking then about, if we're travelling by train or we're travelling by plane, how far that would be kilometres. Now it's your turn to answer some questions. So pause the video and have a think about which unit of measurement would you use for these lengths. And then we'll check back and see how you did.